She's well, her first name is Destiny, so it was always destined that she was going to make it. First time she ever picked up a racket, age 5, all the way in Narre Warren, Australia, um, and pretty remarkable just to see her journey with everything she's gone through, and just great to see her back on the court playing at this level. She looked great in the first round. Um, a battle, but I'm really intrigued to see what she does with Collins in this next match. Collins is really solid, but I think that power that Collins hit may feed into Destiny, and I think Destiny's going to give her a bit of a shake-up. But little D, we call it, or I call it little D. The dad Mark and her mum Rosie, uh, just incredible journey that she's made, and I hope she can keep going. Um, she's also doing a lot of pretty amazing stuff for Islanders because she's from Samoan background.
Okay.
Um, so she's inspiring a lot of other girls and other Islanders to do, sports and get into tennis, and because most people look at it as rugby, or because they're very solid type of culture. But so she's showing that there's other ways of getting out there, and so she's inspiring more. So that's been really cool as well.
Yeah, we see the young player coming up, and then we see the inspiration of the kids. I like one of the more recent, relatively viral videos online of little Coco Gauff sitting right behind Venus Williams, and those things matter. We talk with a lot of coaches and players that talk about their seminal moment, that moment that said, "I want to do this." Andy Roddick's got his story as well that says, "When I was at this tournament, I saw that and it was so cool, and I said I was going to go do it." So I think that's really important to see those players and take the young kids up to watch them play to get inspired.
Mm-hmm. 100%. And it all sort of started somewhere. I mean, they showed Djokovic's journey with his former coach when he first started as well, right? And I mean, again, there are a lot of coaches, if you are listening, that are in the trenches, that are building future stars, that don't get any accolades, don't get any recognition. Um, just keep doing it because it is a numbers game, so to speak, like
Mhm.
sales. And you just keep building, and there is no guarantees. If you saw Djokovic hitting the forehand when he was a little kid, they show it. It wasn't as flash as everyone's talking about, but he had a drive and he had something, and um, did she raise a ton of them? Probably not. It's just, again, you just got to keep going. I think in the player development side, if you've got an eye for it and you love it, just keep doing it. And the recognition comes from, like I had yesterday, watching her win that last point in the 10-point tiebreaker, and just when she dropped a racket, everybody felt it. So you're part of the journey. You know.
Yeah, and that's fun. We need to hook you up with the coachlife.com group because they talk with coaches that worked with players like their first coach.
Mm,
And that would be an interesting conversation to be had because hey, what does that take? And I like what you put is that a numbers game. Say, well, these coaches didn't just coach that one player. It wasn't like
mm,
I picked out Nick Kyrgios and he was going to
mm,
be the. It was they worked with thousands of players and they
mm,
also happened to work with that one that happened to
mm,
make it because most players don't make it.
mm. And when we talk about players, I mean, in my academy, I used to always say that it's your journey to the player. It's not the coach's journey. And the coach doesn't own the player owns the player. So I used to say that all the time because the player needs to understand you got to stand on that court and do it for yourself. Uh, and 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 I'm only going to be a pawn in the whole process. You're going to have multiple mentors, multiple coaches, multiple inspirations, but you still got to be able to do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really the key element. I mean, I could almost replay. It was myself, her dad Mark, her mum Rosie. Then there was Lisa D'Amelio. Then there was Tennis Australia, who had multiple coaches that tried to help her. Um, and then she's had a bit of a rocky road with here and in and out. And And then I remember helping with Jamie Forlis, who's also in the tournament. Uh, Stefan Storch is in the tournament. There's a whole bunch of players that we all touch, but at the end of the day, the players doing it for themselves. And if we've been part of the journey, it just makes it more exciting as a coach. But every day, that's what I think every coach needs to realize. We're touching players that get this kind of result, I should say.
Yeah, it
So,
makes me think of yesterday. I watched the post-match interview from Taylor Fritz,
yeah.
and we don't always do these day of. So this is more of a current event conversation that we don't usually have it this way. Excuse me, but the post match interview with Taylor Fritz, where the question was, what does it take? This 10-year-old in the stands wants to ask a question about what does it take to be a top five player, and I think Taylor had a very simple and straightforward answer. It takes hard work. It takes a
Hmm.
lot of hard work, but it also means you've got to want it, you've got to love it, and you've got to love that hard work. I heard another comment. I think Robbie Koenig was talking about Zhang, one of the Chinese players. He's 6'4". He's got the build. He's got the talent. They said he was the better player when he was in academy with Daniel Medvedev, who clearly
Hmm.
has had the better result, the better career. Say
Right.
he just never got it. The day in, the day out, the work ethic. There's so much more than just being talented.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Nadal talks about it all the time. Every player talks about just that hard work. You've got to be able to get up each day, every single day, and just keep going. I mean, you can look at it in every sport. Kobe Bryant, uh, you know, Curry, all of them. Every single sport, it's about getting up and doing the work. Tom Brady talks about the work all the time.
Yeah,
But if
hardest workers.
we talk about tennis. I can come up with 1,000 different examples, but I'll never forget Djokovic back in 2017, I think, or 2018. He came off the plane. I was sitting in Hisense Arena. He got a limo to their courts, and before going to a hotel, before doing anything, he walked straight out in the court, picked out racket in the bag, put the hitter up the other end, and the first rally was 118 balls.
That's
First
fantastic.
first hit, and I just sat there, and he just literally come on the court, pulled his racket out, put the hitter up the other end, and the first rally was that. You know,
That's how you get rid of jet
Patrick,
lag, right?
yeah, and then, Patrick Toglu talks about Serena would hit for 45 minutes with one ball. You know,
Hmm.
there's these things that that's what makes them where they are, top five or top 10. And if you want to be there, you've got to be really, really. There's got to be something special about you. You've got to be running to work.
Yeah,
You
agreed.
know.
Well, last 2 minutes of our 10 minutes here, I want to run
Yeah.
through the men's draw real quick because it looks like I've only got one really big question with it, which is Tsitsipas. Does he needs to switch to a two-handed backhand? I mean, he just doesn't have it, does he?
Okay, I wasn't expecting that one. Your sissy pass to a two-handed backhand. Come on, man. No,
he he's
no.
not going to make it like this. The game's bigger than him right now. He was what, three in the world at one point? Like I don't think anybody fears him anymore.
I think he's just got to get his edge back. That's all. But
Okay,
maybe not. I mean, look at what happened with Dominic Thiem. But Dominic Thiem was
never found it.
more injury wise. But
Yep.
yeah, he needs to get his weapons. He needs to. I think they just need to go back to the drawing board a little bit. He does have the tools.
Draw
Um,
him in a two-handed backhand, people. Jeez.
Yeah, no, I would probably try to strengthen the serve and get him to the net more,
Uh-huh.
and maybe work the slice more. Um, but yeah, no, he has the tools. They just need to reinvent.
Well, tools
Um,
tools to be top 10. I don't know if he's a contender. And we look at Rubelev. Rubelev loves losing early in the majors. What's going on there?
yeah, again, I think there's a big wave of players coming in. That
Okay,
they're all hungry.
good point. This
Big wave of
Fonseca kid
players.
is good, right?
Yeah, there's a big wave of players coming in. They're all hungry, and look, when we said the top three got out of the way, which one's still going,
Yep.
who's not far off, I believe,
Yep.
I'm sure of that. Djokovic looks like he's working uphill against some of these stronger, younger players. That's and then, of course, with his age and everything he's done, um, I think he's doing really well. I won't give him credit still, but at the same time, there is a big wave of players coming in that are hungry, and it's going to be hard to see. I don't see how we're going to have a consistent top 10. We're going to see a lot of in and out like we used to see with the female tour. I think we're going to see a lot of that. We're going to, at least for the 5 years now, we're going to get a feel for in and out till we see another top 2, top 3, top 4. And they're starting to sort out some rivalries. Alcaraz Sinner is a definite. We're going to see much more of that.
And still, nobody wants to see Medvedev in their half of the draw. Like, that guy's hard to beat.
Yeah, well, Medvedev's going to mix it up, and he's a competitor.
And does anybody fear Rude?
Yeah, so Rude I just don't feel like he's got enough weapons, so he's going to wear himself
out.
The
world. He's still 6th in the world. You just look at that and think, okay, how do these guys, and then Gerald Yassim has a great kind of winter season. It's summer down there, but all of a sudden he shows up. He wins his first tournament not indoors. So, okay, that's saying something. But I think you're right. I think that the younger players coming in, we might not have that same dominance.
There's a big wave of a lot of kids, and when I say kids, they're fresher, younger, hitting the ball harder, and that makes it more difficult for the older players to keep up with, especially when there's a lot of them. So I think that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of wave of a lot of hungry players, and you only have to look at the first round and look at who won. There was not the obvious names, so we'll see how far some of them go. Opelka has had a great little start to the year from the States. So I think we'll see. It's going to be very interesting 25 in the whole world for everything these days. So Tennis Miles will be one of them.
There you go. I like that. All right. So in our 13th minute of our 10 minutes of tennis, you got picks on men's and the women's side. Have you looked that far in to make a bold pick day 3, day 4?
Yes, I think because of the way the draw is, I still think Sinner's going to probably take it out, just as fit as he is. He just looks too clean on a hard court.
Hard to pick against him.
And a bit biased, but Darren Cahill in his corner. Let's go Aussies. Aussie.
What about the women? You think Coco Gauff can pull it off? Is there an Aussie that's going to make a run?
I can't pick a woman. Sorry, man.
Okay.
I
don't know enough about it either. I don't personally follow it that
close. No, I know enough of it, but there's too many big hitters, too many women that just they turn on and just you wouldn't think they'd come out of nowhere. They just do.
Yeah.
The women's is very exciting, is all I can say, because it's too hard to predict exactly who's going to dominate. There's just too many good names, and we got to remember it's a fresh start of the year, so they've all had some time off.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think the women's is exciting because it's too hard to predict.
Yeah, fun to watch.
Yeah, it keeps you intrigued, right? Like, what match am I going to miss? Who's really going to win?
Yep.
So that's what the women's brings you into. Like, I better watch this one because you just don't know. Like,
Yeah.
Where sometimes when you just know, you just don't watch because you know it's going to be over in 25, 30 minutes.
Right, exactly. So, all right, well, this has been our 14 minutes of 10 minutes of tennis special edition, talking about the Aussie Open. Maybe we'll do the same thing next week.
Absolutely, but we owe them a few anyway, so it's all good.
This is true. We took a few weeks off. Justin, I appreciate it. This has been 10 minutes of tennis with world-renowned tennis coach, Australian in Puerto Rico, Justin Yeo. Thank you, sir. We'll see you next week.
Cheers, mate.